Hello, everyone. You know, I'm taping these 2 days apart in succession, but I'm posting them both at the same time, so you get to see twice as much of my whiskery face. How did you get so lucky? How did you spend your Thanksgiving? I spent mine with the park ranger and his wife and a couple of my coworkers because she had just made this huge frickin' spread, and clearly with just two of them they were not going to finish all of this food, so they needed some help. So, you know, even with 5 people, I imagine they're still going to have like a ton of leftovers because we barely made a dent in that dinner. Because she just way overprepared. But hey, I got a nice Thanksgiving dinner out of it. And then I came back here and watched Goin Coconuts with Donny and Marie. Because I hate myself. But yeah, if you're thinking that maybe you need to see this film, no you don't. You do not. It's goofy, dorky crime caper with Donny and Marie musical numbers and a little bit of casual racism. You really don't need to watch it. Just an excuse for them to go to Hawaii, clearly. Yeah, Kenneth Mars is in it, and oh my god, it's he's basically doing the same character that he did in Young Frankenstein, only he's A, seems to be ad-libbing all his lines, B, is clearly drunk off his ass, and C, I think he might have invented his new language to do this because he's absolutely incomprehensible 2/3 of the time. I mean, I watched this movie and like, what the hell did he just say? It's just like, the whole thing is just so bizarre. But yeah, it's Kai D is in it, Ted Cassidy's in it, Harold Sakata's in it, all completely wasted, as you might guess. It's a complete waste of their talents. And there's a bunch of Donny and Marie musical numbers, and that's all you need to know about that. Yeah, I think this might have been the precursor for their appearance in those Hawaiian Punch commercials. I think that's how they got the Hawaiian Punch gig. Or maybe they just sold out to Hawaiian Punch so they could wind up paying for all the money that this movie lost. Which is kind of, because that was rather an infamous bomb and killed their show. Well, the variety show was kind of ending by that point anyway, because, you know, Pink Lady and Jeff was right on the horizon. Anywho, yeah, before the last episode got derailed by me telling blue stories about dirty men's magazines, I promise you that won't happen this time. So we were talking about stores of the past, and did I mention Lucky? Yeah, it's the one thing, and this kind of ties in with the television stuff that I was talking about earlier. There's this one, I guess it must have been around 79, 80, maybe 78. But I'm thinking 79, 80 just because of where I was at the time. They used to have this series of they used to have the Lucky commercial jingle, which was, "You'll find it at your Lucky store." And I used to hate this jingle when I was a kid. I'm really curious to hear it again, but when I was a kid, it annoyed the crap out of me, mainly because the chorus of singers, and I think it just might have been the way their voices blended, but it sounded like they were doing a fake English accent. It's like, "You'll find it at your Lucky store." It sounded like, I don't know why, but that just annoyed the crap out of me when I was 9, 10 years old. But yeah, yeah, I think that's all the grocery shopping, the grocery store stuff that I wanted to talk about, but yeah, it's shopping malls, because when I was a kid, like, the shopping mall that we would go to was Sun Valley Mall in Concord, and that was a good 15, 20 miles away, so that was a really big deal when we were going to the mall there. So my sister and I would get, all excited about going there. mainly because we wind up coming home with something like new toys and stuff. And the other thing was, this was back during the Dorothy Hamill era when uh, ice skating was everywhere, and they had that was I think it was the first ice rink I've ever been to. And they also had this food court. They probably still do, but they had this food court, and I remember there was this one place I like to go to, which just it just said Hofbrau. It wasn't a specific brand. It wasn't like Fritz's Hofbrau or anything like that. It was just Hofbrau, and I would go and I don't know why I was really obsessed by this, but there was a tray, and it said Shahrod Enterprises, Shahrod, and again I was wondering, did I remember that wrong? And I should go with my memory because I was like I really was the school's representative for the spelling bee one year, so clearly the kid is going to remember the right spelling for that because I did do a search on it, and this company existed from like 76 to 79. It was a very short window. So yeah, I was obsessed by the tray because it just had this like unusual font, and it seemed to have a stylized image of a hand going like this and holding like I guess a match because there's like a little flame at the end. I was really obsessed by this, and it's one of these things that I'm always hoping that I'll find in like a thrift store or something. And it's just weird things that I obsess over that only I would care about. And but yeah, later on there was and I mentioned this, the drive-in thing. It's a Hilltop Mall, which originally, like I said, that used to be a horse pasture, and my dad and my uncle kept their horses there. And when they were going to close down that horse pasture, that my dad just went and sold his horses, and my uncle moved his down to Alamo to this friend of the family had a stable out there, way out in Alamo. But yeah, Hilltop Mall. I was there when it opened. It was kind of like always part of my childhood. Nowadays, it's kind of known as being a little bit ghetto, but it was just a shopping mall. I really don't know what to say about it. I remember we used to, because there was this restaurant we go to in San Pablo called Gonzales. My dad always kind of disparagingly referred to it as the Mexican microwave, and they had a second one inside the mall there. And when Gonzales closed down, it became a Taco Bell, and now it's a Mexican restaurant again. I forget what it's called right now, but yeah, I like the way that's kind of always been a Mexican restaurant. And there was a skating rink there, and there was this place next to it called Scoopies, and I remember that it was a weird ice cream place where they didn't serve cones. You would just get it in a cup. So I always thought that was unusual. And the other thing I remember was they had these porthole windows where you could sit there, eat your ice cream, and look out at the people skating in the ice skating rink. And the ice skating rink closed down eventually. I think it became the upstairs of the movie theater that was downstairs. They had the dollar theater upstairs for a while. And later on, it was a gym. It was the 24-hour fitness, and I actually used to go to that gym for a while. But the Hilltop Cinema, not the Hilltop Drive-In, which I already talked about, but the Hilltop Cinema was downstairs and had been there for many years. It's not there anymore. I can't remember. I don't know what's there now. I haven't been to Hilltop in ages, and it's not that far away. But yeah, the Hilltop Cinema, I remember I saw a lot of movies there, and I remember like me and my friend would go there all the time, and one of my most not necessarily fond, but one of my most vibrant memories of movie going was I can't remember how old I was. It was whenever it came out, but my best friend, and I went to go see Explorers, which, if you know Explorers, you know that it has a twist ending. And the place was full of like 10 to 12-year-old boys, and we were just like booing at this twist ending because we didn't. It was such a cliche thing, and we thought it was so lame, and we were just like throwing our popcorn at the screen. I'd never been in like that sort of like near riot situation before, but yeah, that was a thing that happened. Do I have anything else to talk about? What time are we up to? Yeah, I think we can cut it here. So that's all I'm going to be talking about tonight. And happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And we'll see you next time.